6 months ago, I set out to accomplish the hardest physical challenge in my life, running a marathon in 3 hours and 30 minutes or less. Even though I'm a regular runner, I knew this was not going to be an easy goal to reach, and the challenge was compounded by many hurdles I had to get over. Running early in the morning to beat the heat and make it to work on time, having to regularly run in the rain, my training being interrupted because of work travel, and getting sick. But there was another thing. I ran my first marathon back in 2011 when I was 25 years old, and I did it in 3 hours and 34 minutes. So 11 years later, can I beat my younger self by at least 4 minutes?
To catch up to the 3:30. Doesn't look like I'm gonna make it. I'm dying.
To give you some context, I moved to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia in January 2020, right before the pandemic hit. And throughout the pandemic, running was really helpful in keeping me sane and healthy. Fast forward to June 2022, I decided to sign up for the Penang Bridge International Marathon. Penang is a small island in Malaysia, and there is a bridge that links the island to the mainland. About 30 kilometers of the marathon will be on the bridge in both directions. Because I was already running almost daily, I had a pretty good base and foundation to build upon. But I now had to ramp up my mileage, and I needed a clear plan to follow. So I did what any millennial would do. I Googled and downloaded a clear training schedule from the internet. I already had my daily running gear, which is this pair, but I picked up this other pair of shoes for race day. I used them for my long runs to break into them and get my feet used to running in them for long distances. And I track all my runs using this Fitbit, which gives way more statistics about my run than I really needed. Because it's dark when I go running, I have a light vest that I put on. Many times I forgot to charge it and had to run without it. I also have an hydration belt that can carry up to 1 liter of water. The core training involved running 5 to 6 days a week and slowly ramping up the total distance I ran in a week. In particular, my training involved 3 types of runs. Easy runs. These are slow and short runs, usually 5 to 8 kilometers at a slower pace than my target pace for the marathon. To run a marathon in 3.5 hours or less, I must maintain a 5 minute per kilometer or 8 minute mile pace. Then there are tempo runs.
Today I'm doing tempo runs, which are 30 seconds to 1 minute faster than my target speed of 8 minute miles. So I'm trying to keep 7 minutes and 30 seconds or 7 minute miles.
And longer runs are runs that last more than 1 hour and are slower than the target pace. They are very important because they build the endurance needed to run 42.2 kilometers. My longest run during my training was 35 kilometers, and I did it in 3 hours. My usual runs are just around the city center and the surrounding neighborhoods. My route usually takes me by the iconic KL Tower and the even more iconic Twin Towers, both remarkable landmarks. I start my runs around 5 a.m. when there are no cars on the road and the weather is cooler. If you have never been to this part of the world, know that it is very hot, so running later in the day can be very painful. Also, running at 5 a.m. gives me enough time to get to work early. Unfortunately, because it's dark outside when I'm running, I couldn't get very clear footage to show you the beauty of this amazing city. My favorite neighborhood to run through is called Bukit Tungku. It is the most expensive part of town, with the most extravagant houses I've ever seen. I like running in this neighborhood because it's very hilly, so it's very good for my training. Also because it has a lot of greenery and nature. Somewhere in the neighborhood, there is a road dubbed Bukit Naraka, which translates to Hell Hill. It is 800 meters of straight up hill. Trust me, those 800 meters are very painful. It rains a lot in Malaysia.
It started raining in the middle of my run, and I can't stop because it rains a lot in Malaysia. So I had to get used to running in the rain, otherwise I would not be able to accomplish my training goals. So there we go. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Training for a marathon is not just running. The running must be complemented with some sort of cross training, lots of stretching, and some strength and conditioning. For cross training, I mostly walked and did some spinning, but occasionally I got on the elliptical. And for strength and conditioning, I used a mix of body weight, resistance band, and weights. Stretching is probably as important as running consistently. If you don't stretch, your muscles get tense and increase the likelihood of injuries. Using the foam roller is very helpful for muscle recovery. And I also got this hand tool to massage my muscles. A few times, I complemented the stretching with a nice massage. Luckily, I didn't suffer any physical injuries during my training, but my training was disrupted by travels and sickness. In September, right smack in the middle of my training, I had to travel to Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso, Monrovia, Liberia, Eugene, Oregon, and to Majuro, Marshall Islands in the Pacific. Although I was able to keep running, I couldn't hit my weekly distance targets. After I returned from traveling, I jumped back into training and everything was going well until I got sick and had to miss an extended period of training. I first thought it was COVID-19 because a close contact tested positive around the same time, but it turned out to not be COVID-19 and I recovered a few days later and got right back into running again. Then one day, I received my race package. It contained my race bib with the number 801069. The bib had the flag of Burkina Faso on it, which I thought was really cool. In the back, it had my emergency contact just in case. Then the actual race shirt, which I decided to wear on race day. There was a brochure with information about the start time and place, some mask, a raincoat, and tiger balm for muscle pain.
29 and 40 seconds.
We have 20 seconds away.
Ladies and gentlemen, to all runners, we will count up together, can we? Yeah, we will count up together. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go!
So the race is not good. It's not off to a good start. I got stuck in the back and I am now walking my way through to catch up to the 3:30 pacer. I am just behind the 4-hour pacer, if you can see over there. So I need to catch up to that and then catch up to the 3:31. So I've been going below 7-minute miles. That's too fast. So hopefully I can stabilize once I catch the 3:30 pacer and then I can slow down. Otherwise, it's a terrible strategy to start fast because then you can shut down your body very quickly. Okay, so I just found out there is no pacer at 3:30 actually. So, but I am well in front of the 4-hour pacer. I don't know if you can see in the back. And this is my buddy John. I was looking for him at the startup line. And yeah, so there's no 3:30 pacer. We're gonna do this on our own. Hey John.
How you doing?
How are you?
Good.
Man. I'm at about 6 miles in and I'm starting to feel side pain, but I think that's because of how fast I went back there to try to catch up to the 3:30 time. So I will settle into my pace and it should be okay. The pain basically means that my body was producing toxins fast enough and couldn't get rid of it. So I wasn't getting enough oxygen and then there was lactose built up in my body, so it creates that pain there. But once I settle into my pace, I think it should dissipate. So I'll try to get more water and then get to it. All right, okay, not feeling great, but feeling good. So Okay, so we are now on the bridge. This is the Penang Bridge Marathon. So I don't know if you can tell, it's dark out. I don't know if you can see. This is the bridge. There's another bridge over there. So we are running across to mainland. So Penang is an island. So we are running across to mainland. I'm going way too far because it's a decline, so I need to control my speed here. Almost at the halfway mark. We just went up here. I think we're on top of the bridge in the middle. Alright, I am at the halfway mark in the middle of the bridge. It is 13 miles and I'm at 1 hour and 40 minutes. So I am about 4 minutes ahead of the 3:30 hour. But my second half will be slower. So as long as I do the second half in 1 hour and 55 minutes, I'll be okay. And so it's actually 13.1. That's the halfway mark, and I'm just about to reach it at 1 hour 45 minutes. So I'm about 4 minutes faster than the 3:30 hour. So I think now, if I can slow down and keep, 30-minute mile, 8-minute mile, 5-minute K, I'll be all right. But it is uphill, it is windy because we are in the middle of the bridge. So, open water. So my pace is even slower. See? 8:41. So good to go so far. Let's keep going. So I'm at 16.2 miles. So exactly 10 miles left. Make 26.2 and 2 hours and 7 minutes. So if I can keep up 8-minute miles, right? Just 1 hour and 20. Gets me in 3 hours and 26 minutes. But I don't know if you can see the bridge here. It's uphill. So, and it's very windy. So I'm sure I'm gonna slow down. But I'm 4 minutes ahead of the 3:30 pace. Hopefully I can make it. All right, my body is shutting down. So I'm at the 20-mile mark, or 32 kilometers, and I'm exactly at the 3:30 mark, and I'm slowing down. So yeah, doesn't look like I'm gonna make it. So see, 20 miles, it's like 2:40 already. So I need to keep 8-minute miles for the rest, for 6 miles, and I'm above 8-minute miles right now. So, well, I'll give it my all. Let's see. It's uphill and I'm dying. 21.4 miles. Ooh. I can do this. That's right. I'm gonna push myself. You're gonna have to carry me on this stretcher here. All right. I really need to use the bathroom. I'm having some bowel movements, but I can't stop. All right. I knew this would happen because I didn't poop all day. I didn't have bowel movements all day. But I gotta hold it. I can't even speak. I'm dying. The longest 500 meters of my life. All right, my finisher's medal. But I didn't come in at 3:30. I came in at around, the clock said 3:44, but they're gonna adjust it for when I actually crossed the line when we started. So I'm guessing it would be like 3:42, maybe 3:43. Yeah, so I was not able to make it under 3:30, and I also didn't beat my younger self, because my younger self 10 years ago or 11 years ago, I ran my first marathon in 3 hours and 34 minutes. So this one is about 10 minutes slower 11 years later. So I need to keep training, but I think I've given it my all, that's for sure. I can't even walk right now. That's why I'm sitting while I'm talking. I'm completely out of it. I cannot feel my legs. My left leg almost cramped when we had about 2 miles to go. So I had to slow down a little bit and use some ice to ice it for a few seconds before I kept going. But I did not want to walk. No matter what, I was determined to just keep running. And yeah, I made it. I'm excited. I'm glad I did it. In the end, I officially ran the marathon in 3 hours, 42 minutes and 14 seconds. This was the 97th best time of the event, out of a total of 5,230 runners. So I was in the top 100 of all runners. I didn't reach my goal of running the marathon in 3.5 hours or less, but I'm extremely happy with the results, and I'm very proud of myself for having stuck to my training despite all the hurdles and for completing the race. As someone with ADHD, I struggle with finishing tasks that I initiate, so completing anything I start is a great accomplishment. This was my second marathon, and God willing, it certainly won't be my last. Thank you for coming along on this journey, and I hope you enjoyed the video. So long, and see you in the next video.